welcome. If you are seeing this video, it means that you are part of my exclusive VIP group, and I am so grateful for you. So I absolutely love doing this small business, but I can't do it without people like you. So thank you so much for your support. It truly does mean the world to me. I pour my heart and soul into this business, and I hope that I serve you well. So now that you have placed your order, it is my turn to serve you. So step one, your makeup is coming, you're waiting, you're patiently checking that mailbox every day. What do you need to do to prep? So first thing first, you need to start working on your skin, okay? So I want you to exfoliate. So there are a few different ways that you can exfoliate. So one way is with a chemical exfoliator such as SEINT's mask. This is really amazing. If you have sensitive skin, skin that, you put the abrasive exfoliator on and you end up having a reaction, this is a really great option. It just helps to renew that cell growth, and it's non-abrasive. So I use this once a week. And then the times where I feel like, you know how your skin just feels like sometimes it just really needs that good scrub? I really like this one from Monat. It's the Berry Refined Scrub. So it's abrasive, but it is, I don't know, it's like little seeds that are in there. So it's kind of a natural solution to that. So I know quite a few ladies that are distributors for Monat. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know and I'll send you their names. I don't sell that. It's just a product that I really like. So another thing that you can do is tinkle. So this is a tinkle razor. It's basically like a facial razor. It helps to remove peach fuzz and just helps to remove dead skin cells and everything else from your face. So it's kind of like, it's just a cheap form of dermaplaning, basically. So you can go and you can pay to be dermaplaned, or you can buy a little tinkle razor for a couple bucks, and it kind of does the same thing. So I'm taking that peach fuzz off. I'm creating the smoothest surface possible. Another thing that you need to do after you've exfoliated is moisturize. So your face needs moisture, whether you're dry skin or whether you're oily skin. Both of those types of skins actually need moisture. So I love SEINT's cream. This has absolutely changed my skin. I used to have really dry, sort of like patches on my skin, and ever since I started using this, so it's a night cream, but I also use it to prime my makeup. So ever since I started using this, I no longer have skin issues. There's no dryness whatsoever. And it's really changed a lot of like the redness in my face and everything. So I can't say enough good stuff about this. Like I said, night cream, and I can use it to prime my face for makeup. Okay, so your package has arrived in the mail. How exciting and how beautiful is our packaging. It makes me so excited every time. It's like Christmas when it arrives. So number one tip for when you receive your package, if it was left on your doorstep and you live in a warm climate, make sure that you let your tins come to room temperature before opening them up, because it is cream. If it gets too hot, the cream can melt and just make a disaster all over your house. So let it come to room temperature, open everything up, and then you're good to go. So all your makeup is going to come in these individual tins. You will have likely been color matched by me. So you should have your perfect colors. If you have trouble with your colors, reach out. Remember, there is a trouble matching guide that I sent you after your purchase, and reach out if you have any issues. I'm always happy to help. So you likely have ordered a compact as well. So this is the palette 12. This is what I recommend most people start with. It's a double-decker palette. It holds pretty much everything you need. If you're simple with your makeup, if you like variety, you're gonna need a bigger palette. So I'm just going to take the lid off my tin. This is Sandstone Lip and Cheek, and I'm gonna plop it into my compact. There is no right or wrong way to organize your compact. You do you, you'll figure out what works for you. The one thing I will suggest is keeping creams separate from powders. So these are my powders and these are my creams. Just sometimes the powders, if you drop your palette and a powder crumbles a little bit, then you're gonna get it in your cream and it's gonna make a mess. So we don't wanna do that. Okay, so now that I have everything in my compact, I'm gonna go for a brush. So I will almost always recommend 2 brushes. So one to apply the makeup and then one to blend. This, if you only want 1 brush, if you're someone that, you know, you're not quite ready to commit to everything, you just wanted 1 brush, chances are it's this brush that I matched you with. This is the blush bronzer brush. If you want a medium, light to medium application, then this is the detail brush. It's a really great option. Another one is the buff brush. That's for more mature skin or more full coverage. And if you want just a really light sort of natural coverage, then I probably would have suggested the 3D brush. Okay, so step 1, when we're ready to apply the makeup, is priming our face. So we always need to prime our face, whether it is with the SEINT cream that I talked about earlier. Another option is our SEINT setting spray. So if you're someone with like really oily skin, a really great option is to prime with the setting spray. For me, like I said, I like to use the cream, so I just take a little dab of it. You don't need a lot. And I put it on. So you can already see that I did my eyeshadow earlier. A good tip is to do your eyeshadow before the rest of your makeups to avoid fallout. Okay, so now that I've got that on my face, I am good to go, ready to start applying my makeup. So I am going to take the brush that I matched you with for application. So like this is the detail brush, whether you have the buff brush or the 3D brush. We are going to start with contour. Okay, so one thing I always say, don't get hung up on the brush itself. The most important thing with 3D foundation is knowing the placement of your colors. The brush really doesn't matter. You can use your finger, you can use a sponge, whatever. Just know where the colors go. Okay, so when I use the detail brush, I like to use this sort of rectangular end into my contour. So contour, if you put your finger in the contour and you put your finger in the highlight, you're going to notice that they're a bit of a different texture. So the contour is going to be more thicker, like a thicker consistency, less creamy than the highlights. So that means that you're going to have to press a little bit harder into your contour to get that onto your brush. That's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay. So contour placement. So let's keep this simple, something that works for pretty much everyone. Let's find our cheekbones. Okay. You feel those cheekbones and then you feel kind of underneath there where it hollows a little bit. Let's put our contour in there in the hollow of our cheek. Okay. We're gonna take it sort of towards the corner of our mouth. If you drew a line from the top of your ear to the top of your mouth, you don't want your contour below that line. You wanna keep your contour up so that you get a bit of a facelift, okay? Then I'm gonna go along my jawline. So I just basically want to define my jaw a little bit more. I've lost a lot of the definition in there. So what I'm doing is just kind of just taking whatever's left on my brush. If you don't have enough left on your brush, then of course just go in and grab some more. But all you're doing is basically just creating that definition, okay? And then you can pull it down kind of on your jowl like that a little bit. So remember, with contour, we're basically just shadowing away our problem areas. So for me, another thing is I have quite a large forehead. So I am just going to use some contour up there just to minimize the size of it. So a good tip for this is if you find the peaks in your brows and you create a bit of a triangle, everything above your fingers should be contour. So this will vary because everyone's forehead size varies. But I'm just gonna throw this on. Make sure that you pull it into your hairline as well, just so you don't have that stark kind of whitish line there. And then I always like to just go over the bottom there, just to kind of feather it out a little bit. You'll do a little bit more of that with blending, but it doesn't hurt to do it while you're applying your contour. Okay, so same thing over here. Find that hollow in the cheeks. And I'm basically stamping, but you could draw, like you could take your finger and you could draw a line. Doesn't matter what you do. As long as you put it in the right spot, put it in that cheekbone, under that cheekbone. If you're ever wondering about your placement, like feel free to send me a picture. Put your makeup on, feel free to send me a picture, and I can just give you some constructive criticism or, you know, tell you you're doing a really great job. So I'm always happy to help. So contour should be in the shape of a 3 when you're done, okay? So you can contour your nose as well. With that, I just take it on the one side of the detail brush and I just draw a line down. I don't need to make my nose any smaller. It's small enough. But if you wanted your nose smaller, then you would just put your 2 lines closer together. So I just want to show you that you can just use your finger for this process too. It's super easy. That's nose contouring. And then if you want to do a little bit under your lip to create that bit of a pout, just kind of draw it under your lip like that, and you can see how it just makes that bottom lip look a little bit more pouty. Okay, that is contour. It doesn't have to be hard, you guys. It's easy. I promise. It does take a little bit to catch on to because it's not something that we're probably all used to doing. Okay, main highlight. So now the main highlight is the one that's going to closely, I can't speak, closely match your skin tone. Okay, so you're gonna put this, because we're learning, we are just gonna put this everywhere that we didn't put contour. Let's keep it simple for the learning process. Once you get a little more advanced, and if you want a really light makeup application, you're going to be able to just figure out where your brightening highlight goes, and then you can do it all in a single layer rather than putting this main highlight. So I'm going to put it up underneath my eyes, kind of along the side of the nose, underneath the contour there. Same thing over here. So I'm doing a combination of stippling and a bit of swiping. So you will notice, if you look at this spot on my face compared to this spot, that all our makeup has a little bit of a yellow undertone. So the reasoning for that is that it's really going to give you the perfect lighting in any situation. So you're going to have that glow no matter if you are in fluorescent lighting, natural lighting, indoor lighting. It doesn't matter, you are going to have a beautiful glow no matter what. So it really is like a complexion enhancer. It's not a mask. It's not covering up your skin. It's going to basically absorb and just become a second layer of skin. It's going to look so natural and so beautiful. Really just makes such a difference in how you look. Okay, and we'll just throw whatever's left on the brush down the nose. Okay, so there I've done everywhere that I didn't do contour. So now we are gonna go into a bit of an optional step, but it's a step that I really, really value. This is Bella Bronzer and Glow Illuminator. So I like to pair the two together. This is at the point in the face where I like to use my bronzer, because it really does help just to blend everything in. So I'm going to do one side just so that you can see the comparison. If you don't have the bronzer, if you didn't purchase that, that's fine. Don't worry. You can get it another time. But it really, really does add to the look. If you don't have it, just skip this step. But I'm going to swirl in between the two colors there. So I've got a little bit on my brush there. And then I'm going to just kind of stamp it on slash swirl it on. So I'm going to put it over here as well. Saint is actually coming out with a variety of bronzers. So if you want something a little more subtle, or if you need something a little darker, we are going to have all sorts of options for you. So stay tuned. And then I'm also going to do down my neck. So that's one of the key things, is to bronze. Why did I choose these earrings today? I'm gonna bronze down my neck, just that one side. So you'll see in a lot of the before and afters that like the Saint artists post, I think a lot of people probably think it looks fake because, you know, the necks are so different. There's so much more like life in the after pictures. But you guys, like, it's just, that's just the yellow. It's the bit of the yellow undertone, but it's also like the bronze from the Bella bronzer. It's amazing. Okay, so there you can see I've done half of my face. I don't even need to blend this anymore as opposed to that. So that's why I value the bronzer step so much. I will always recommend bronzer for you. And I mean, you get it for $5 if you purchase this brush, if you use the bundle. So I mean, it's always something that I'm going to recommend. My favorite step. Okay. And then down the neck. Don't forget the nose. Just throw a little bit on there. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to move on to brightening highlight. So your brightening highlight, oops, and if you've just started watching me, you'll know that I always drop a brush. So clumsy. Okay, so I've got main highlight, brightening highlight. So brightening highlight's gonna be like a couple shades lighter than your main highlight. And I'm still using that detail brush, and I'm going to use the more detailed, smaller end. So I get a lot of questions like, do you need to wash your brushes in between colors? The answer is no. These brushes are designed for cream, so they're not picking up too much product. Therefore, you don't have to clean them in between. You should clean your brushes once a week. I like to use, here it is, our Saint brush cleaner or cleanser. It also conditions the bristles, so it's very important that you do that if you want to prolong the life of your brushes. Also just keeps bacteria away, and when you have a clean brush, you pick up less product, so you're wasting less product. Because remember, a little bit goes a long way with this foundation. It's so pigmented that you don't need a whole lot. So you don't want to pick up excess, because then you're going to be going through your tins faster. Okay, so here we go, brightening highlight. We're gonna do it a few different ways. If you want a lot of brightness and you don't have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles under your eyes, then you are going to take your brightening highlight down to the corner of your nose and kind of up to your temple. And then you're gonna just create a bit of a triangle there. The triangle of light, okay? You're really adding brightness. This is drawing attention inward and drawing attention away from the outer areas, okay? That is one way to do it. Another way, if you're more mature, if you have those fine lines and wrinkles, or you just don't want that much brightness, there's nothing wrong with that. What you're gonna do is take your brightening highlight, you're gonna just put it on the inner corner of your eye, because that is always the darkest spot on your face. So you're gonna just take it inward like that, and then you're gonna take a little bit here on the outer corner of your eye, kind of up to your brow, and just kind of stamp that in, okay? And then you just take whatever's left and just kind of stamp it in. Okay, so that's providing the same effect, but you're using less product underneath your eyes, so it's less likely to build up in those fine lines and wrinkles. Okay, so this one I can stamp over too. Okay, so now we can take our brightening highlight and we're gonna take it kind of in the center of our forehead and just sort of fan it out like that. And take the other end and just kind of blend it into the other colors. I'm gonna take it down the center of my nose. Same thing, just kind of buff out those edges so it's not so sharp. Cupid's bow. Don't forget the Cupid's bow. And then chin. Unless you have a super prominent chin that you don't want emphasized, you're gonna put a little bit of a dot on your chin. Okay, there's brightening highlight. So we have one more step to go. That is our lip and cheek color. So that is basically personal preference. If you want suggestions, let me know. I can pick something that I think would look beautiful on you. But everyone's got their color and they kind of know what works for them. So I like to play around with mine a little bit. This is a beautiful color. It's called Sandstone. I usually just take my finger and put it on, but I find the brush does work a little bit better. This is the multitasker brush. I'm just a little more accurate because I have small lips. It's just a little bit easier to be more precise with the brush. Okay, so that is Sandstone. And then if I want to put it on my cheeks, I like to just take a little bit on my finger and kind of tap where I want it to go. And then I take the blush bronzer brush. So this is the end, the fluffy end that I used for the bronzer. I'm going to take the more dense end. And all I'm gonna do is stipple. Okay, just like that. So whether you want your blush higher or lower, if you want a bit of a facelift, you're gonna wanna put it up a little bit higher. There we go, super pigmented. You don't need a whole lot of that product at all. Okay, now we need to set our makeup. So there's a couple different options for setting. You can set with the Vanilla Dust setting powder. So pressed powder, if you have mature skin, is much better than loose powder because the loose powder can really get caught up in those fine lines and wrinkles. Whereas the pressed powder, you don't get quite as much product on your brush. It's not gonna build up in those fine lines and wrinkles. Also, because Saint is cream, it sort of leaves you with a bit of a dewy finish, which I love. I absolutely love that. I feel like it makes you look younger, healthier, just more radiant. But some people don't like it, or sometimes if you're oily, it's just a bit too much. Pressed powder is really great for that. It keeps some of the dewiness, but it just tones it down a little bit. So this is a really great option. What I use 99% of the time is our setting spray. So if you have this, be sure to shake it up every time, and you want to press really hard on the button, and then you want to go kind of in an X pattern so that you can get your entire face sprayed with the spray. So I'm going to show you, and then you can always do a little bit more. It smells so good, so you're probably going to want to spray it. So now you can see that I have a sponge. So a sponge, when you're starting out with this makeup, is very important. So whether you purchased our sponge, whether you have one of your own, I strongly recommend getting one, because the biggest mistake people make when they first start out with Saint is that they use too much product. And so the sponge, if it's damp, so you put it under water, you squeeze it a few times till it like doubles in size, squeeze all the water out, then grab a towel, put it in a towel and squeeze all the water out. Then you can apply it to your face, and it's just going to help to blend the makeup in, and it's going to pick up any excess makeup that's on your face. So especially for like your under eyes, those areas, you really want to just pick up any excess, because if you did use too much, it may build up in those fine lines and wrinkles. But the great thing about that is, say you were using powder foundation and it builds up in those fine lines and wrinkles. What's your option? Wipe it away and start over. Your product's gone. With cream, all you have to do is just take your finger and just press it in, and eventually it'll set for you. So I always think that if you are over the age of 35, if you have mature skin, cream makeup is the way to go for sure. Okay guys, I hope that was helpful for you. Another tip that I can give you, I guess, is when your tins get low. Okay, see this one? It's getting a little bit low. You're starting to see the bottom of the tin. If you want to make your tins like new again, I take that, I put it on, I have a glass top stove. I put it right on that on like low heat, let it melt, stir it with a toothpick to pick up any like fibers or anything from your brush maybe that have accumulated over time, and they're good as new. You can also just put them in a cookie sheet in the oven. You can put them on your hair straightener. Just make sure that if you do the hair straightener that you let them cool off before you try to move it. Lesson learned the hard way for me. So yeah, I think that's everything. I'm really so grateful that you supported my small business, and I really hope that I can serve you in the future. So any of your following orders can go through www.confidentlyval.com. So that is the link that I use to give you guys giveaways, to do things for you guys. So I really appreciate when people shop through there. If you're someone that is in love with this makeup, you want it all, reach out. I'll give you a loyalty link. It's basically like a hostess link if you were hosting a party, but you can shop through it yourself, and that way you're earning rewards on your purchases. It makes so much sense if, like I said, if you're an addict, you want everything, or if you want the skincare. So we do have a skincare line. It's really great. My favorite part of the skincare line, I already told you, is the SEINT cream, but also these refresh wipes. So at the end of the day, if you're tired like me, wipe your makeup off with a microfiber cloth and then go over with these wipes. This cleanses and tones all in one step. It just makes things easy. So if those are things that you're interested in, definitely ask for a loyalty link, because you are going to earn free product, and it just makes sense, right? As always, thank you guys so much for supporting my business. I work really hard to serve you, and I'm really passionate about this. So thank you for allowing me to do something that I love. Reach out if you have any questions, and anything you do to help support my business, it doesn't go unnoticed. It will be rewarded. I do monthly giveaways, and I'm just so thankful for you guys.